So Joe Biden obviously thinks he's on the ascent because of the South Carolina vote. And he did very well in South Carolina. Can't take it away from him. The African Americans came out, they voted for Biden. Sanders actually got fewer votes than he did 4 years ago in South Carolina. Very interesting. I don't like them there, the African Americans. So Biden, he goes around on Sunday shows, and here is him with Chris Wallace. Go.
I can hardly wait to debate him on stage. I want people to see me standing next to him and him standing next to me. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you. Thanks for your time. Please come back in less than 13 years, sir.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. I just did Chris. No, I just did Chuck. I tell you what, man, these are back-to-back. Anyway.
No, it's okay.
I don't know how you do it early in the morning, too.
Safe travels on the campaign trail. Thank you, sir.
Chuck, Chris, I don't know. He does. Now, the reason I'm doing this is there is a problem with Joe Biden. There is. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not an MD. There's a problem. He doesn't know what he's saying. Many times he doesn't know what he's saying. He can't concentrate. Going to be 78 years old. There's a problem. All right? Wallace didn't even ask him about the 150 million killed by gunfire that he said in the last debate, Biden. That's question number one for me. That's not a mistake. I mean, that's just fog. Now, Bernie and his people, they know it's coming. They know the fix is in. So they're very disappointed tonight. And I didn't want to put Bernie Sanders in the loser category because he is going to win the biggest state, California. He didn't win Colorado. He'll probably win Maine or Massachusetts, or one of those. And maybe another one, Minnesota, maybe. So Bernie didn't get knocked out like Elizabeth Warren, and he isn't on the ropes. He's still got a constituency and a loyal one. He'll still be able to raise a lot of money. But Bernie and his crew have got to know that this is not a good time for them, that they're up against it, that the populist revolution they needed to override the corporations and the establishment Democrats, Podesta, Emanuel, these guys, they needed a populist wave to override that, like Trump had. Trump's wave crushed the Republican establishment, which didn't want any part of him. And we all saw it. There's not going to be a Bernie wave. That wave is low tide, Bernie. Now, they got to know that tonight. So what do they do? What do they do? I guess you hope that Joe Biden self-destructs. All right? So it's going to be March 4th tomorrow. He's got to make it to July. All right? He's got to make it to July, Biden. It's kind of a long time. And it ain't going to happen. So they got to just keep on keeping on. This is the Bernie Sanders people, hoping that Joe just can't do it. Something happens. And that's their really only hope. I can't see Biden. And I want to harken back to 6 months ago when I predicted Biden would get the nomination. Now, I've been critical of Biden. I've wavered a little, but I never threw him under the bus. I never said I'm withdrawing my prediction because I kind of knew that the corporate establishment and the Democratic establishment, which, by the way, the media and the Democrats are simpatico. There are no giant media companies aligned with the Republican Party. None. Now, you might say the banks and all of that, maybe. But media companies, all right? None. So I knew that Biden would always have that connection running against a socialist, Elizabeth Warren. As I said, I have no use for that woman. No use for her as a human being. She is a due process denier. she should move from Cambridge, Massachusetts to Salem. She destroyed Bloomberg, and some people think that's good. All right? But here's Warren, who lost her own state, got crushed in her own state, right? And lost every other state. Here's what she said last night. Go.
My name is Elizabeth Warren, and I'm the woman who's going to beat Donald Trump. I am also going to help take back the Senate and put Mitch McConnell out of a job.
And she knew when she was saying that she getting pounded, killed. She knew. So she's back in Massachusetts. She'll drop out momentarily. She may have dropped out even before you're watching this. Nobody likes her. Bernie Sanders can't stand her because she called, she in a private conversation, he said something that would be tougher for a woman to win the presidency, and she turned it around and tried to ram it down his throat. She plays identity politics, feminist politics. She's done. Finished the rest of her life. Good. We don't need people like that in government. Absolutely awful human being, in my opinion. Okay, now, President Trump, he wants to run against Bernie Sanders, but it's not going to happen. I think the president knows that. So here's what he said about Biden. Go.
The results it was a great comeback for Joe Biden. Incredible comeback when you think about it. But if you would have looked, if Elizabeth Warren would have done what she probably should have done from their point of view, he would have won, right? He would have won a lot of states, including Massachusetts, probably Texas, definitely Minnesota. So Bernie would have won states that he lost, and he lost fairly easily.
So he's saying that if Warren had gotten out, Sanders would have taken a lot of her votes and been a much stronger candidate on Super Tuesday, which is true. That's true. Going forward, Sanders will get some of Warren's votes, but there are not that many of them. This is pretty stunning that you would have the Senate Minority Leader, a guy who's been around a long time, threaten U.S. Supreme Court justices. Roll the tape on that.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
So you just can't do that. Imagine President Trump did that. So Democrats don't know what to do with Schumer now. He's the leader of the party. Even CNN is criticizing him. I believe that Senator Schumer will be censured. And I'll explain that in a moment. So the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts, who very rarely does things like this, issued a statement, and I'll read it to you. This morning, Senator Schumer spoke at a rally in front of the Supreme Court while a case was being argued inside. Senator Schumer referred to two members of the court by name, said he wanted to tell them that you have released a whirlwind, you will pay a price. You will not know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. Justices know that criticism comes with territory, but threatening statements of this sort, the highest levels of government, are not only inappropriate, they're dangerous. All members of the court will continue to do their job without fear or favor from whatever quarter, unquote. Okay, so that's rare and it's accurate. All right, what Justice Roberts said is absolutely accurate. There's no debate. Schumer did it, but Schumer now is trying to say he didn't do it. Let's put his statement on a screen. Women's health care rights are at stake, and Americans from every corner of the country are in anguish about what the court might do to them. Senator Schumer's comments were a reference to the political price Senate Republicans will pay for putting these justices on the court, and a warning that the justice will unleash a major grassroots movement on the issue of reproductive rights against the decision. For Justice Roberts to follow the right wing's deliberate misinterpretation of what Senator Schumer said while remaining silent when President Trump attacked Justice Sotomayor and Ginsburg last week shows Justice Roberts does not just call balls and strike, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. Stupid cliche. So basically, Schumer, because he had to okay this statement, is saying to the country that he didn't threaten the justices, which he did. So he's lying to you, and everybody knows he's lying. Schumer knows he's lying. All right, and then he starts to attack President Trump, of course, try to mask it. Now, I've never had much regard for Chuck Schumer. I've known him many years. Sat next to him at an Al Smith dinner a few years back. Always had a decent relationship with him. Not any acrimony, but he's a fanatic. I don't believe he's an honest man, intellectually honest. I don't believe that. He does a lot of backroom deals I don't like. He's an old-time pal. Powerful, absolutely powerful.